championship appearances between all 6 players about to play this game, but only one can continue.
Individuals like Garrett G at 9 World Championship appearances. Kami on the other side, 6 for Renegades. A massive amount of experience here on this stage right now.
No doubt about it. Even Kami, more World Championship appearances than Justin and Squishy, who are both sitting at 5. This really is a battle of legacies. 2 teams with an opportunity to add another huge chapter in their story. But will it make you laugh or will it make you cry? We're about to find out.
Oh, no matter what, there will be tears. Up high off the bar, Justin puts it up. Squishy can push it back downfield. Renegades gonna get another boom and clear.
One thing that was really, shots already coming in for Renegades. The defense wasn't really a problem for NRG against version 1. It was the shooting.
CJ, that was the big player for Renegades in the shooting department all season long. He struggled in some of his wildcard matchups, but Kami really stepped up for Renegades there in the shooting department, and another knock on the door of NRG.
That's really where I feel like Renegades' hope lies. It lies with Kami's performance. We know what Fever's going to bring, and he brings it every time. But when Renegades are doing well, it's because Kami is delivering and producing on offense. Renegades trying to push forward with a shot taken away. Renegades generating a good amount of pressure. They have to pull off here, losing the boost game in the blue.
And that's expected. Renegades are probably going to get more pressure than NRG. That's just the play style that the General brings, to sit back, be very passive against every single opponent. And that might help Renegades here, as they've been spending a lot of time on this blue side. But Garrett now trying to make the difference and not going to get by Kami.
Garrett, earlier in this season, it's been a long season that's going to end here for one of these teams, but Garrett was one of the best flip reset goal scorers. We've seen NRG in the past have that threat in the air, that solo threat. We haven't really seen that from NRG lately, but now we're seeing Garrett start to heat up with his shooting. That placement looked good, looked to be on target, but a great save from the Renegades.
Renegades double, didn't matter. The clear was good enough for everyone to get back into position. It forces NRG back to the midfield. Garrett lobbing one up to Squishy. Wanted to pass, but CJ had it defended. Justin weaves around one. Get back Fever in the corner. It does scoop up underneath. Kami having to avoid an attempted bump. Now NRG putting on a lot of pressure, but the ball skids by Garrett.
Still looking for space. NRG. Justin gonna get this dunk, and a big block by CJ to deny the General.
And that has been something the Renegades have been phenomenal at. There's a demo on the goal line. Another save from Kami. Renegades on their own backboard, on their goal line, have been staunch defenders, keeping out shot after shot all throughout the wild card, and even now against the General NRG, holding out some shots. That save from Kami, it's not the first time we've seen him do that this week.
NRG also playing very physically on offense. Justin drops it down, a light shot. That goal line defense holding strong for Renegades. Now the transition, one touch. Does he got a second? And no, Kami, no boost, have to pull back out.
Not as threatening there from Renegades. Started off hot here in the first minute or so. You really look for the point man downfield for Renegades. CJ gonna get by one. Try and kind of scramble up that NRG defense, because you know they're gonna be so packed in. This one towards the net. Fever had no help behind him.
You can even see the look on Justin's face after that went in. He wasn't expecting Fever to come in like that. He didn't challenge, he just got caught in no man's land.
Maybe thought he had someone behind him, or maybe thought he could play the ball to the back wall and carry it out around the corner. Either way, Fever, he didn't get what he asked for on that play.
And again, it's Justin putting in that first goal for NRG.
He's been such a crucial goal scorer for NRG as well. Definitely the player I think a lot of fans look to step up his game, but as of late, I think it's been Squishy when he's been on his mark. NRG have looked a lot better, and it's that aggressiveness that I think we sometimes don't see out of him. So far for NRG, this has been a fantastic start. They're up 1-0, a minute and a half left to play, and they've slowly started to control this game the way that NRG wants.
Good little touch there, Garrett, leaving that ball for Justin, seeing Kami was there to return fire. NRG commanding the game well so far. Garrett up in front, taken away by CJ. And his challenge back to the Renegades corner. Since that pressure in the opening minute from Renegades, they haven't had many chances. Garrett frozen. Too committed from NRG on the back line. And in the corner, Renegades are getting stuffed still. CJ diving in front, trying to push Squishy off the ball, but Squishy is the winner in there.
And it was tough to tell who exactly that was that missed that ball. I think it was Squishy who missed it on the sidewall that led to that brief attack. Rare whiff there. NRG still in firm control. You can see Garrett playing keep away, tipping it off to the side. Justin
Flip reset.
got his flip. Oh, shot, gonna be saved.
Just not enough power on it. It's not over. Squishy ends up kicking the ball away. He didn't have any boost. Not the touch he wanted. Another chance for Renegades, maybe. It comes off the corner. Justin's got it covered. Fever unwilling to commit. It's pushed out. Maybe another chance for Fever underneath. CJ having to protect the back line at the end of regulation. Justin, shot on, but just off the mark on the bar. Renegades, last push. Around the corner, Fever trying to read Squishy. Underneath, NRG controlling the game. And unless Renegades have some magic here from Kami. Nope, no jump from Renegades. Maybe from the corner. Justin's there. Put up by CJ.
He's got boost.
He's got the catch. Midfield, underneath on the 50. Bops it up back over to Fever. He doesn't have any boost. And it's good game for game one.
It's not been easy in those late seconds for NRG. You even think back to that series against version 1. They had the lead going into the final seconds. Beast Mode shoots it in from the corner. So you're holding your breath, just waiting for the Renegades to bring some magic. But this first game was very interesting, Corelli. We saw out of the gate, it was the Renegades who had all the pressure, NRG playing defense, and then it started to turn around. But the only goal we saw was that Justin flick when Fever got out of position.
And the game started, I think, in the pace that Renegades wants, right? The quick passing plays downfield. You saw a lot of pressure on the NRG side, but NRG really packed it in, and that defense stood tall, and then they started pushing up their line, and that's when it got scary for Renegades. They weren't able to break down the midfield too many times, and when they did, they didn't have boost or possession.
I really wonder if that's actually going to do anything to Renegades, though, because like you were saying, James, only coming off of that Fever mistake, and other than that, Renegades were pretty clean on defense. This is still anyone's game. We'll see how game 2 ends up.
And really, one thing that I wonder if we'll start to see out of the Renegades is some demo plays. That has really been incredibly effective against NRG. You've seen it so many times, especially from version 1. They play this, you know, Jorby, you called it the dump and bump, where you kind of dump the ball off, especially in the corner, and then you wrap around and go for a bump on the goalie in net, leave a rebound, go in the middle. NRG has been vulnerable to that specific play tons of times against version 1. You wonder if Renegades will start to bring out something similar.
And one thing that we didn't get to see from Renegades was Fever and the way he interacts in the midfield. A lot of pre-jumps coming out in the wild card, and I think NRG did a good job just shutting him down, forcing him to go all the way back to his back line and kind of recycle himself out of the offense.
But we did see some chances. There was that play, I think it was Kami, who was going up for a double tap but ran out of boost. It was a good setup, and it wasn't defended on the backboard. We did see some looks from Renegades.
Makes me feel like if Renegades can relieve some of that pressure and actually manage their boost a little bit better getting those clears, then maybe Kami will have the boost to do those plays. Maybe Fever will be able to get those resets and put real pressure on it.
Oh, double.
Kami and CJ both commit. Fever had a nice pop over to CJ, a good idea, but beat by Squishy.
Didn't mention Squishy's name too much in that previous series, and he did his job just fine. Now Garrett with a flip reset.
And he's going for that. And we even saw that shot already gone for, almost scored. Now another chance for Garrett, needs to get one. As the desk said, Garrett still scoreless, the only player here so far who's still looking for that first goal of the World Championship.
NRG had complete control of the midfield, got all the boost, and never really left the orange half. Now Renegades have expended everything to get a big clear that's going to help them. Comes from the left side, redirect for Renegades.
What a flick on from Fever, and what a welcome goal for Renegades. A big clear here from CJ down the line into the box, and NRG too slow to react.
And that type of play is exactly what Fever and Renegades were doing against Team Secret in the wildcard stage. You had Fever coming from either in the net or from the corners where the defenders did not see him, and he gets that small touch. Fever finding success there, Renegades getting on the board.
NRG punch it back over to the Renegades half. Justin got the pop-up, but only 20 in the tank, and all knocked away. Renegades will continue having that success. They can keep challenging those balls in the third, and they keep having players to commit on the back wall. NRG are gonna have a difficult time getting into that Renegades net. Here's Justin with another push, and again, CJ uses all the boots for 250s and stints the NRG attack.
And it really is going to come down to the midfield. You see even there, NRG had a lot of time to play with it, but this is a good challenge from CJ to push it away. I think Renegades, again, you've got to look at the midfield and the way that NRG controls that ball, the time and space that they're given. They've been able to pick apart. Here's some space now for Justin. And Renegades there, Fever to clear it away.
Justin got a lot of power on that flick with low boost. You see the demo from CJ. CJ, pinch attempt. But Justin might be able to work with this. Lovely bump, it bounces in! NRG getting physical themselves. They've been victims of the bumps and demos, and they say, now it's our turn.
Wow, that's great communication as well. Garrett punting that last man out of the way. Justin bought just enough time for Garrett to chase after him, and NRG able to tie it up.
That physical offense again working for NRG. Renegades get the kickoff win. Oh, the double tap was there available, but Justin cuts it out. NRG, again, not letting Renegades generate any pressure, and 2 touches for NRG lead to another goal.
And there it is, that's Garrett G's first goal, and maybe we'll start to see them come out of their shells. NRG having more pressure. CJ was just too slow there. It looked like he backflipped.
Yeah, and I think Justin got a piece of him as well as he tried to come across the box there again. Some of the physical play coming out for NRG. Another demo now, Garrett on Kami. Justin looking to go all the way off the backboard. Renegades keeping it clean for now. It's another one rings off and still denied.
Well, confident Justin's really scary when he's up air dribbling that ball in the third. But CJ trying to get Renegades back into it, but the 50 goes the opposite side. Kami wins against 1, but these touches, he's actually going to get back to it. Garrett was playing soft on the rotation.
They all win.
But there they go.
There's no one
Open
there.
for Garrett, and that's another goal. Squishy says, those are my points.
But I like this out of the Renegades. They're going for it. You see Fever trying to get that bump. CJ was going from the back line out. The Renegades are playing to win right now. They recognize they're behind. They recognize time is running out. But now that overcommit is going to put them in a very difficult situation. Down by 2, less than 2 minutes left. But look, already CJ getting some revenge off the kickoff.
And they were going for a demo there. That's why it was kind of a full court press coming out from Renegades. They were sending everyone to receive the pass and the bump. Now down by 2, make it 3. Squishy's gonna get another.
Just too much for Renegades to handle here. Garrett gets the nice 50. You see CJ tries to get up to Justin in time, and Kami, he was still landing from his last 50, sitting on the back wall, and that's the most awkward spot you could be in to try to handle that rebound. Squishy easily collecting.
And NRG starting to shift into a different gear, and you wonder if Renegades are going to be able to keep up. They've been getting out of position a bit too slow on defensive challenges. NRG speeding up. We'll see if they can keep up this pace.
Squishy. Nice little landing. Popularized by TRK.
Oh no, Garrett's there.
And then a great shot, Garrett! The old pivot! 5 goals for NRG.
And look at the read that Garrett had on this play. Squishy went into the challenge. Fever never came, but he tried to play it across into his corner, which you think would be safe, but Garrett G read it all the way across the field. It's 5-1 now for NRG.
Oh, that was killer instinct positioning from Garrett. He knew that Fever only had one place to go with that ball and read him like a book. Will we see 6 for a reset attempt? Not gonna go in.
Justin already in the air. NRG pressing. Maybe much more aggressive. The desk talking about how NRG love to play defensive, and for most of what we've seen from NRG over the months, they are a heavily defensive team, but in this last game, it's been nothing but offense for this team. They will not give up the midfield. They'll press up as far as they want to. Renegades, they've definitely given it to them a couple of times. They've taken a lot of risks. They've gotten burned on almost every single one.
And you can see how much more confident I think NRG are here in game 2 versus game 1. A 6-1 scoreline. Squishy getting a hat trick here in game 2, but so much more offensively minded here against Renegades. And you were talking about it. Renegades just haven't been able to break out with the ball. It's just been NRG in their face every step of the way.
NRG's been too fast. You even see that. Just push the ball downfield. Push, push, push. 50, 50, 50. And then a chance will present itself. Another opportunity for Renegades late. Less than 30 seconds to go. Doesn't look like they're going to convert. Maybe we'll see the legendary scoreline come out from NRG on this one.
Renegades really trying to make that a non-reality. NRG committing on the play, and got to be feeling really good after this. I imagine Renegades take a timeout after this, try to figure out what exactly isn't working. We talk about the risk that they take not really coming to fruition. And as we come to the end, popped up a nice little scoop. NRG in commanding form against Renegades. Maybe some questions coming in, but starting to be answered.
And a matchup that NRG has owned for a while now. 11 straight wins against OCE teams here. And for NRG, a commanding one here, 6-1 in game 2.
And Garrett finally getting on the board this World Championship. That's huge. Squishy getting activated as well. Justin scored the first goal, and you're wondering, is Justin going to be the only one to score for NRG? He had 3 out of the 4 goals up to that point, but then finally, the cavalry started to arrive.
I really like how Squishy's been playing this whole game.
Yes.
He has been really clinical, and you were mentioning earlier that we didn't say his name a lot, but he's doing a lot of that dirty work in midfield. He's doing well controlling the ball. Renegades will call a timeout here, but it's not just Garrett and Justin that you got to worry about. And Squishy at the top of the scoreboard with a hat trick, but he's still doing all of those small things that the scoreboard won't show you.
And it's a point that I've been trying to touch on here, and I think Squishy showing us off here with a hat trick with 3 shots as well. He's the guy I think that's going to make the difference for NRG. His attack, his aggressiveness is what's important, because I think he sits in the 3rd man position a lot of times when NRG are on attack. But when he moves up that line and takes a little bit more of an aggressive stance, it's a lot scarier form that you see from NRG.
And also, one thing that's easy to forget is that Squishy has every mechanic locked down in the book. You know, he can go for these flip reset, double taps,
He's
flip
going for
resets. He can do anything, you know? And so being able to get Squishy out of his shell and be able to bring, I think especially in this matchup when Renegades have been giving NRG space, maybe you look to do that and then also get that confidence moving forward. Renegades, on the other hand, the one part that we saw working for them was Fever cutting through the back and trying to get that touch, but it's a thin line that you have to walk there. You know, you're trying to go from behind, get the touch, but sometimes you overcommit too much, and we saw that exact thing happen. And that's when the game started to get out of hand after that point.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not winning those boost battles, and you're not even winning the challenges in midfield, you can't commit a player downfield, because all of a sudden it's a 3v2 the other way. And unless you're actually winning the 50s, if your 3rd man is actually holding the back line well, then it's not going to work. So for Renegades, I think the word isn't passive, it's just maybe being a little more defensive instead of trying to take more risk, be more risk averse.
Yeah, I think you have to slow the game down if you're Renegades, because we all know NRG is going to give you the space. I mean, that's the thing that we kind of make fun of NRG for a lot of times in these broadcasts, is how passive they can be, and it's paid off for them plenty of times, but you know that NRG are going to give you that space.
Yeah.
So for Renegades, they don't have to panic. They don't have to go up the sidewall every single time and then try and dish it off to the midfield. Bring it down, and then choose your options from there. Slow that game down. Make NRG come to you.
Renegades got their extra 60 seconds to talk it out, figure it out, and now it's game time. Push down to the corner, Renegades. Early in the game, we talked about their defense and how well they played, especially on the goal line. You will need some of that. Fever getting the boost steal, punching Justin off the ball. Renegades allowing NRG to come forward easily. So far, doing enough, but the 50s starting to go the other way as NRG pushed out against Justin, Squishy, and Garrett forced back.
And that was a really difficult read that Fever had to make off the backboard. That shot was going to be coming in. We've seen now both ends of the field have backboard bounces that were well defended. Strong starts defensively for both teams.
And offensively for NRG, you look back to their version 1 series, they shot 6% as a team in that series where they were swept. And just in that last game, Squishy went 3 for 4. And if you're Renegades, you really got to be looking out for the way they've been shooting, as this one comes down, a good pass across. Squishy, patient on his attack.
That was a great cut. Renegades, they're starting to lose control of the ball. You saw Fever earlier, he jumped off the back wall, a misread. That could have been disastrous for them. And now they're forced into a dump and chase game.
The time.
It's not where you want to be on defense. Squishy had all day to look at that ball. He's got 40 in the tank still, but it's taken away by Fever.
And if you're Renegades, you're really starting to feel that pressure your entire season boiling down here. And that is the way to handle the pressure. CJ had a lead blocker and made the most of it.
And this is what we're talking about. CJ bringing that ball down, taking it into his own possession, getting a second touch. He knows he's got teammates there to support him, and a good bump to open up the net. Renegades on the board first here in game 3.
Getting that first goal, oh so important for that mental game. And more importantly, for the lead.
Yeah.
you can see how much confidence he was playing with going off the ceiling to defend that counterattack. CJ looking good, and there's a miss from Justin. Fever will punish.
What a touch from Fever again. He's working inside the trenches in the box, and you can see the way he kind of circled around there to whip back around and put one on target. NRG, unlikely for them to have no one there inside the net. Squishy tried to dive across, but again, Renegades taking advantage of some space inside the box. It's been Fever every single time.
Confidence building 2 minutes for Renegades. Fever gets a clean kickoff. On the reset, just misses the bump in front. CJ trying to cut off Justin's approach, force him to delay, and we ended up helping Justin out there as he slipped underneath. And two come in on the pinch, and it works out.
Those pinches can be so helpful buying time, especially if you're pinching on low boost. Just like that, we've seen Renegades go for the pinch, now attacking. Beautiful control from CJ, who is trying to get that to the other side of the net, cutting it around. The defense sniffed it out.
Ooh, that could have been dangerous, but second man for Renegades, Kami, was there. Justin with some boost, and a reset just lost control, and it's taken away.
Need a little more juice on that flip. Another shot coming through. CJ gets away from a bump. Still needs help to get out. Squishy trying to force the issue here for NRG. Justin once again receiving it at the top of the box. Another flip reset. Gets by one. Justin throwing a lot of fakes out for Renegades as everyone panicking to get the clear.
Playing keep away, but Squishy able to come in and support. Will that be enough pressure relieved? This is quite the attack forming up for NRG, but that clear is going to slow things down.
I think Justin stayed in the orange half for that entire minute. Was finally forced back to his own third. Now gonna find a hard pass over to Squishy. Over in the corner, it's a dead ball. CJ, deleted. Garrett, last back. Kami's in control. A weak flick, and almost got the dunk on the read. Fever flips out of the play and pushes it away from Justin, but Garrett was ready for it. Comes wide, and CJ's there, who has been good on the 50 so far in game 3, breaking him out again with 90 seconds left for NRG.
Unfortunate side flip there from Fever, but now Squishy trying to drop it in the box. Garrett G was there. Justin having to go off his own backboard. He missed the touch. The last man's there. Fever on the shot, but somehow Justin gets back.
Huge save, but NRG, they can use less defense and more offense at the moment. You saw Squishy opting for the drop down pass when maybe he could have just gone for the rebound play, maybe even scored it right there. NRG running out of time.
Renegades hanging on and have taken control. Push up to the corner for Justin. 2 Renegades players defending the right side. Squishy denied by Kami again. Garrett trying to whip that ball around to Squishy. Successful, but Justin's on the retreat. Garrett has to let Justin come in off the board, and first to the ball is Kami.
And again, good work here from Renegades to deny the backboard. Once again, having to field it in the corner here. This is dangerous, though. Justin does a good job to win the first challenge. NRG starting to circle the wagons here on the Renegades side. It's Garrett with another fake. Now Justin, a pass back, maybe. Garrett tries to get a shot on target, and again, Renegades in the way.
Punch downfield. That's a lot of time off the clock. They need just a little bit if NRG want to take any chance in this game, but it doesn't look like it's possible. Justin denied again. The third's covered by Renegades, and the timeout works out in their favor. They split the lead in the series, put one more up. No sweep.
And I do feel like Renegades did exactly what we were talking about. I really like the way CJ was taking his time on the ball a lot more, letting the play kind of just develop a little bit more in front of them. He took it into his own hands a few times, and that's the guy that you want hot. He puts one away here, 1 of 2 in this game, and I think Renegades, a lot more of just a controlled game, especially on offense. They had a lot more boost to work with and space there that, of course, NRG is going to give them.
And it can't be understated how important that game was. This is your season on the line that you're playing for. There's no second chances. There's no lower bracket. There's no Swiss extra life. This is it. They were the Renegades going in down 2-0, had to call a timeout against NRG. And if they lose this game, it's pretty much
absolutely. How many times have we seen a 3-0 comeback fail? Every single time on land. There's never been a reverse sweep best of 7 on land. So it had to be a game win there for Renegades if they had a chance.
And it shows you that the Renegades are here to play. They are here to win. They very easily could have rolled over in that game, but they had that grit and determination. NRG was attacking the backboard as much as they could, but it was closed for business. Renegades preventing those backboard bounces. NRG, boom ball, didn't work.
And I think it's important to point out the tactics as well, taking that timeout before it was like too late, right? Sometimes we see teams take that timeout when they're down 3-0. They give them a chance to kind of implement a play style and test it out. And it paid off here in game 3. Into game 4 we go. Renegades with a lot more momentum.
And Fever, he wins the kickoff again. The last few kickoffs for Renegades. They've successfully shuffled that ball over to Fever. He gets one solid look pushing down the NRG side, and sometimes that's all it takes to build significant pressure on the end. Justin denied on the reset. To me, that's the big difference maker on defense. Oh, imagine if he got that.
It was close. And Renegades, they have to keep that box clean, but now Kami gets by one. Can he get by another?
And he got the boost steal as well. Kami doing work in the trenches.
Justin forced off the ball, and you saw Garrett. He was positioned for a 50 win, and it slowed down NRG's approach. NRG having to figure out where exactly to sit on the rotation now. Garrett and Squishy. That's a good win from Squishy in front. Garrett also not able to follow that ball up. Renegades getting to a lot of these challenges, making life difficult for NRG despite being able to get or being unable to get out.
And again down the sideline, a pitch over to CJ, and Renegades up by one.
Kami is playing so well. He takes that 50, goes down, hits the pinch pass. That might have been going in, but CJ there to secure the deal. That play, the genesis of it was Kami defensively, wrapping it around, quick counterattack, incredible play there from the Kiwi, and the Renegades have another lead.
Make no mistake about it, Kami has awoken. Garrett trying to put him back to sleep here. Nice pass to Justin. Oh, the save, 2,000 foot, and it's Kami who picks up the save.
Getting the job done on both sides of the field. Kami, the last second making that save, but NRG, they might have a bit more here. Justin looking for more space in the corner.
Oh, pass to Garrett. Flipped it up in front. Renegades always have someone there. Justin against Kami, trying to play it slow. That's a good pop. Free ball for Garrett. First touch off the board. Does he get another one? Drops it down and has to pass it back. And it almost worked out for Justin. He did get the 50. He got the bump as well. Doing a lot of work. Things keep going right, but then they can't complete it.
There's a scrum there for a moment, battling for that ball. The Renegades, their defense holds up again. They shut out NRG in game 3, still holding them scoreless as 2 minutes tick by in game 4.
Oh, the shot from Squishy denied by CJ. Nice whip around the corner. Ended up being a tactical whiff for Justin. Oh, and now Kami whiffs. Garrett's got a one-on-one. Forced the 50 up. Squishy lets Justin shoot. Saved again. Kami gets another.
Another massive save from Kami, but NRG ramping up. That one comes across the box. Another attempt from Justin, and Renegades holding on by a thread.
And it looked like it got deflected by a defender, and that's what threw off the shot opportunity. Bit of a surprise there, catching both the defense and the offense, but now we're seeing some demos come out. NRG starting to have a sense of urgency, it seems, on the offensive end.
They're trying, but they're losing!
CJ coming up huge for the Renegades once again, and it's Fever to dish it off. NRG can't get back in time.
And Garrett was slowed down. I don't know if he went for a demo or if someone drove in his way, but that demo encounter slowed Garrett down to where he could not get back in time. And the Renegades, after the timeout, are looking unstoppable.
4 straight goals for Renegades in the last 2 games. NRG getting stuffed on offense despite trying every trick they got.
Oh, double commit into a challenge beat from Kami.
It's
It's not looking good for NRG. Kami will finish the job. But you saw the double commit right there. Justin beat to the ball. Garrett, no boost in the tank.
And NRG haven't had to play a lot of defense. There's no defense back for them now twice. Renegades on the counterattack, and the flub there in the backfield. 2 going for the same ball, and Garrett was just rushing to get in front of the net. Couldn't get it off the back wall. Renegades now running away with game 4.
NRG trying so many multi-touch opportunities in Renegades half, but one solid shot from midfield. That looked like the most solid chance that they've had so far. But you gotta give credit. Kami coming up with so many saves. Fever has a couple as well. The defense from Renegades, not just on the goal line, but in the thirds. Garrett, nothing. Challenged again off the back wall. Squishy, another touch. Gets it around 1. Maybe a chance for NRG to start the clock, but they keep getting stuffed.
And Fever doing so much work there to slow down the ball in the corner. Kami with the pinch. You see CJ does get a bump, but slowing that ball down in the corners, making those defensive stops, Renegades have been doing so well with that, but now they're gonna have to defend. There's a demo. The shot was saved. Rebound will finally go in for NRG, but look how hard they had to work for it.
Justin went the length of the pitch. Garrett punching one out of the way with the demo, and CJ, you gotta give him credit. He made the first save, but the last man comes through, and NRG on the board with just over a minute left to play.
Plenty of time. That spark of confidence. Going for the fake kickoff.
Kickoff.
Justin with a full tank. Here he comes. One touch. Does he got two? Oh, it's denied. CJ diving in front. Not over for Garrett. Pushes it out. Light shot. Squishy wants to play the loss. Garrett keeps just away
He's got full
from
boost.
Renegades. Here comes Justin again. Off the ceiling. Two touches on the ground. Off the bar. Garrett. Shot. Goal! Coming up big once again. Justin with a second touch pass to himself. Opening up the net. Garrett strikes through. And they're within one with 42 to play.
Oh, Kami was close, but not close enough. The General NRG are back in it.
All of a sudden, momentum has flipped. CJ trying to spin it. No pass as Garrett cuts it off quickly. Justin has looked deadly in the last minute, but a big clear for Renegades. They don't even need to score. They just got to hold the line. Squishy trying to break it down. Cut off a big challenge there from Kami. Two of them.
You can see the space NRG's been working with. Now Justin wants to use it a bit more. Renegades doing well to run off the clock here, final 10.
Nice catch from Fever. A decent enough 50. Justin in the air. Denied by Kami. Justin punched off the play. Squishy waiting for his last chance. Pass over to Justin. Ooh, denied. Still in the air. Garrett diving forward. Off the rim and bounce. Shot one. Stage Kami. The hero for Renegades. We're tied up.
Kami! I mean, how many walls do we have here?
We got a whole house.
And Kami is acting like a brick house. He was unbeatable on the goal line. Kami defensively, they were slowing things down like you were saying, Corelli. You wanted to see that out of the Renegades. Well, they did that. Kami and Fever both successfully slowing the ball down in the corner, baiting NRG to come in and challenge, and then after they beat that first attacker, you can kickstart that counter. But the defense in those final moments, we even saw CJ go up against Justin. When Justin tried to pop it over him, CJ had the read, shut it down, and then that 0-second shot attempt, we've seen Justin do that before, but he has not had to deal with Kami, and Kami shut him down.
I'm not gonna lie to you, James. I saw the ball like shoot over to Justin, and he's sitting uncontested. And I'm thinking,
it's like, this
here
is
it is
it.
again.
Yeah.
Here it is again.
We've spoken a lot about legacy, and I was having flashbacks with that one coming off the corner. For NRG, 14 shots in this last game. And if you watch back this game, it's a lot of Renegades playing defense. They had to put up 10 saves. But NRG definitely had the offensive press. Renegades were just too strong.
Look at the saves. Kami 4 saves, CJ 5. Fever had 1. Certainly, the Renegades stuck on their goal line quite a bit, but we're seeing the experience. And this is one thing I love watching the Renegades. They're a team from OCE. They're sitting on an island. They don't get to have as much opportunity to play the peak mechanical players. But one thing that they do that I love to see is they play a cerebral game. They make adjustments, and they go in with a game plan that they rely on and they execute. And they're able to bait in teams like NRG, who are the mechanically better team, and they're able to take them down.
And you think back to that timeout, it's been nothing but green grass here for Renegades. As they have looked a bit different in Game 4 and in Game 5, threatening already.
Deep pass over to Kami. Nothing really developing there, but really just a midfield building touch. Oh, that's a nice kick from Fever, but Garrett was already ready. NRG have been sending 2 on every push. They haven't really been relying on a first man breaking out. They're always sending a winger.
Hold on.
Right, coming across, that's a good 50 from Squishy, but it leaves an opening for Fever and cut off by Garrett.
NRG, they would love to get an early lead here, especially the hole they dug themselves early on. CJ trying to make a difference, gets a dunk, another touch, Squishy makes the save, now Justin flicks it away. Renegades can't break through the wall.
As a precarious spot for NRG, they get away without conceding a goal, but Renegades smell blood in the water.
No touch there for Fever. Renegades playing excellently on defense as Kami. Carry underneath. The 50 over to Squishy. Fever's late to this. Kind of a dead ball for now, but that 50 might put the game in play. Renegades can't catch Squishy out. He's got boost. He's got the reset. He's got the bar. The net's open, but it's taken away. I thought Justin may have been a little closer. I was looking away from the play.
And Renegades happy to see that one go the other way. Now they're turning it on its head. Another one off the back wall, and Squishy very patient there to play that one out. Wins a quality challenge. And Renegades losing possession. NRG happy to just blast this one away.
Oh, the pass over to CJ from Kami. No power on that touch. Garrett also not really getting the touch he wants out of it. Renegades not having nearly as many boost issues as they did early on in the series. And when they get starved, they're able to protect their own canisters. That's really what's helped them play such stellar defense. Here's another shot, a changeup, puts it down in front, and a great follow-up play to keep the ball out.
And man, the Renegades have been so good about cleaning up the trash in front of their net. Anytime there's a rebound, they've been the first to it to clear it out almost every single time.
And if you're on the NRG side, you feel like so many missed opportunities, especially looking at that last game. So many of these balls being lobbed
double
across.
commit.
That's two. Garrett's the last man, and it's wide open for Kami. It's going to roll all the way to the other side, and Renegades puts it home.
And this is when you really start to worry. Garrett and Justin both going for the same ball. That ball was hanging in the air for quite some time. No communications. You can even see the looks on NRG's face. They're struggling right now. NRG, they have to bounce back. Renegades, they're starting to break away with this.
And you feel like there might be a little rattled in the last two games. Squishy trying to break through. Oh, wow! From Garrett G, and hold on. They come right back into it.
He's never going to quit on the play. Plays the headhunter, bulldozer for Garrett, and whoops, Fulcia got the goal.
That is reaction time. You don't expect that play to happen. Kami got a piece of it, but I pinched out. Excellent reaction from Garrett G to backflip that into the net. And NRG, they stabilize. But I mean, you wonder when that NRG timeout's gonna come.
Yeah.
You feel like they just need a moment.
Well, certainly it would be after this game if they were to drop it.
But that's got to feel great to get that goal after being shut out or almost shut out for 2 straight games. Your last 2 goals didn't come till the very end. And it almost feels like it didn't matter because you didn't complete the comeback. But this time, they do tie it up. And now it's about withstanding that Renegades challenge game, which has been a nuisance. Really, it's been almost the death knell for NRG, especially these last 3 games.
I mean, you even saw that 150-50 from CJ.
Oh.
Now we see the slow play attempt from Squishy. Will he stay in?
Whoa.
Handbrake around. Squishy playing offensively, but that's a beat. We'll see if he can get back in time. Squishy rotating out. Will hit it off the corner and gets the boost, but that's a nice challenge from CJ.
Oh, Garrett missing the ball.
Time.
Squishy trying to doze Kami off, and he see him scoop right under his undercarriage. Didn't really matter though. That's been NRG's problem. They send the house. They try to mix it up. They try to get mechanical, and then somehow Renegades find the touch and get another clear.
Well, the ramp up to their attack has been just fine. It's the counter from Renegades that's been really hurting NRG. They don't get back on defense. They've been really stretching out to force the offense here from NRG.
A good bounce though.
A dangerous bounce.
Oh, no one's in net.
It's open.
What? Squishy punishing Renegades last man. CJ, what is he doing?
Oh, that has to hurt.
Not what you want, and what is a crucial game here in Game 5, a side flip to open up the net for NRG.
Now Renegades have to respond. That's a perfect bounce for Kami. Only 30 in the tank. That 50 right over to Justin, but he gets bumped off the play. Shot! Top line!
Garrett G keeps that out. That one surely looked like it was gonna go in, but now we see the defense come out for NRG. Renegades look like they had the edge in that category, but NRG, they're fighting in these final seconds.
Pushed in the corner. One last boom for CJ. He's looking for Kami, but already in the air, Squishy got it over to the corner. Fever was playing deep second man. Got the pop-up though. CJ's already in the air. It's over to the entire Renegade squad. Kami's got to pop it up nicely. Back to CJ.
Fever's there.
Back to Fever. He doesn't have any boost left. Kami hitting it in reverse, and he dropped the ball. NRG recover and put the series on match point.
A fortunate ending for NRG there. You feel like CJ would at least have an opportunity to make the save. And NRG coming out on top again, putting on that pressure. 7 shots to their name. And for NRG, 1 away from moving on.
And it wasn't necessarily the prettiest game from NRG either. You saw the double commit from Garrett and Justin that led to that long-range goal for Kami, and you were wondering if that was going to be it for NRG in that game. And the only thing that really helped NRG get the win in this game, well, one was the incredible Garrett save, but also that side flip from CJ. If he doesn't side flip and he gets that save, who knows how this game's going to turn out. But even this play, Garrett, presence of mind, the vision to recognize he could make a play on the ball. That was the open net goal. That was the whole difference. And those weren't 2 goals that you'd necessarily write home about.
Right, and I think on Renegade's side, though, you have to know how vulnerable the NRG defense is, especially on the counter. Like we were just mentioning, they did it 2 or 3 times. Of course, the Kami goal was all the way across the net, but it was the counter just with players throwing themselves from NRG downfield. Renegades had wide open space on the NRG side to work with, and to be fair, they did punish them quite a bit, but you also have to create your own chances as well, because you don't want to rely on NRG for making mistakes. You want to create NRG's mistakes.
And it really just came down to one side flip from CJ. Otherwise, I had a feeling we were going into a long overtime with how both defenses were looking. The Renegades, this is 2 games now where the loss comes off of a critical error, but the kickoff is free for Justin, and NRG start 5 seconds off.
All smiles from NRG here in the first 5 seconds, and Justin had all 3 of Renegades in front of him, picks the gap, and puts it away.
And this could be it for the Renegades. Neo Tokyo could be the place where their 21-22 season comes to an end.
Tons of cars in the scrapyard of Neo Tokyo. Kami trying to get in the way of the shot, and it comes off the bar, awkward. Kami saved his flip, just the right moment. And CJ gets a nice kick back over to Fever. Doesn't have enough control, and we haven't seen that mechanical Fever energy that we've seen so many times with Renegades. We may need that.
Oh, there it is!
Renegades, and they just caught the man! Fever gets the go-ahead goal!
We were just looking at it, James. We saw it, both of them, Justin and Garrett G, pushed up so far, and it takes just 1 touch from Renegades to beat them all the way back the other side, and it's tied up.
And we've seen that multiple times this World Championship where Renegades instantaneously can get that pass out to the middle and get a quick shot on net. They needed that goal. Renegades back into it.
Justin's shot. Oh, Kami having to avoid a bump, and he got the touch. See Squishy dive in front of it. Garrett doesn't have to buy time for Justin. The ball did that himself. Nice fake from Justin. Last man to beat. Kami drills him over to the side, but Justin ain't quitting. Leaves CJ with clearance duty. It's popped out. Renegades handling business right now. Defense is stabilized.
You really look towards Renegades. Try and slow that game down again. It was working so well in the previous game. Feels like NRG, it's been non-stop press from them. CJ again trying to use those sidewalls to clear it in the midfield, but NRG have denied it in the last couple games.
You were letting that ball drop, and you saw the NRG rotation kind of stop. Now they're letting Renegades get that ball out in front for them. Trying to punish the touches for Renegades. Pass in front, but no one can commit for NRG. Every option covered. CJ deleted on the play. But Garrett getting the 50 for Kami.
But that whole defensive stand, Jorby, was so good. You saw the backboard defense, Fever getting that tip out. CJ coming out to make sure that ball gets cleared out. Renegades, they're playing tight defense. You even see Fever looking for that ball. The shot's gonna be saved. Renegades taking a swing.
Justin, carry over 1, but it took his entire tank. Nice 50 from CJ. Fever quickly up to the ball. Does he got the dunk on Squishy? He does punch Squishy out of the play. And right back into position. Justin comes in to help out. Hops over 1. Justin denied by Fever with the ball in front of the box. CJ denies Garrett a chance.
Great reads from NRG, and Justin doing a lot of the dirty work to move the ball down the field again, beating another defender and finding the back wall. CJ with a great read. But the attack's not over yet. A demo comes out from Squishy, but the Renegades looking to ramp up their offense. Squishy with a bump on Kami will put an end to that.
It also looked like he got the mid boost as well. It's just huge pressure for NRG.
Squishy trying to push the corner. That's a good pass to Kami, but where can he go with the ball? He had no boost. Now Garrett on the side wall, looking for an opportunity. Pulling Renegades defenders up, weaving them out of the play. Squishy, another back pass to Justin. Keeps it close, freezes Fever. Whoa, a goal for
midfield, a perfect first touch to set himself up for success, and Fever oh so close to making the save. NRG up by 1 with 2 to play.
That was remarkable card control. I almost want to see that play again from Justin to see how he was able to get back on his wheels, get behind that ball and take the shot. Justin is elevating his gameplay. We've seen him stay on the ball much more, trying to make the defense make mistakes.
Now Renegades, Corelli, goes back to what you were talking about earlier. They have to find a way. Justin from scoring! NRG taken by 2!
And how? How do you stop this man? The way he's played in the last 2 games in particular, using his flip, and Renegades can do nothing about it.
Did he do that with 4 boosts? It looked like he had nothing in the tank, and he pulls that off. Justin is taking this series into his own hands.
Fever wins the kick, or gets the kickoff ball. Ceiling reset. No dunk onto Squishy. And Justin carries the ball out again. Justin reaching prime form right now, and it's just saved by Fever. The Renegades slow coming, getting the clear. 1 demo, but no dunk. No 50 there for Justin. Kami actually on the retreat.
Oh.
Justin denied on the shot attempt. Squishy gets the catch. Justin bulldozing Kami out of the way. The Renegades forced into defensive duty, and it looks like it's gonna be a long schedule for them. They finally break out. They get off early, but nothing developing for them. It's sent right back to the orange half.
Oh, no.
Oh, does he get 2? And it's just wide.
Close there for Squishy, but every single play, it's Justin getting the touch offensively and defensively. The first man up the field, the first man back, and NRG running circles around Renegades right now.
Time running out for the Renegades. Their season could come to an end here. Only 30 seconds left for them to get 2.
Kami can't weave around. NRG looking scary at times, but Garrett pops it and he leaves.
That was smart from Garrett, just poking that one away, running out the clock here with a 2-goal lead.
Oh, the touch, like give Fever a chance, goes hard off the back wall, and all of Renegades were playing a push across the box. Now there's no time left. NRG, 5 seconds left for them to do it. Justin, Garrett, Squishy, moving on in the tournament. Renegades going home.
Your defending world champions are still here, and they're here to play. A fantastic ending performance here, 4-2 over the Renegades.
And credit to the Renegades, they did not let up. The defensive stand that we saw, Kami getting that save at 0 seconds, denying Justin another world championship moment. We saw Renegades after the timeout win 2 straight. Seemed like the defenders of the title were on the ropes, but then NRG started to get their feet back under them, and in Game 6, it was Justin that took matters into his own hands, a hat trick and some great goals.
How fitting is that for Justin and NRG? CJ, everyone giving him props, hugs, tears for Renegades. But for NRG, we saw Renegades take those next 2 games after the timeout, and we thought maybe it's the same song we've heard lately for the last few months. Can NRG reset? Can they stop the comeback and regain the momentum and the control? They do. And they got something to prove. And it's hard to imagine that a team like NRG, a team as storied as NRG, would come into a tournament, to a championship for a title that they're defending, and they're in prove-it mode?
Yeah.
And it's a big win for NRG against Renegades.
Yeah, it was a trap game for them, especially. I don't blame anyone on the desk for picking the upset here. I don't think that's a crazy pick to come out with. NRG, they haven't been convincing walking into this one. But we've talked to some of the players. We were talking to Squishy this morning. He was saying, you know, everyone's underestimating us. Nobody's giving us the credit. And they've come out, they've put the work in. You talked about the scrims coming into this, or I think the desk talked about the scrims coming into this. They've been putting the work in here today, and the last few days, and it's paying off on a big stage like this with this many people in the Dickies Arena. NRG comes on stage and takes down a very strong Renegades.
And it can't be understated how much pressure that these players feel, how much anxiety that they have coming into events like this, knowing that all these months of hard work, all these months of playing in events, trying to get to this point, it all comes down to right now, to tomorrow, to the next 5 minutes, just waiting to get into that game. And we saw how much that can affect players. We saw this side flip from CJ, even NRG struggling with the nerves. This is the biggest stage that we've ever had for Rocket League. And honestly, it's been incredible to see so far. Renegades, credit to them. They've had an amazing season. They gave the defending champs a run for their money, but NRG, they're gonna set their sights towards Semper and are gonna be moving on to the next round.
NRG just a little better. Let's hear from the winners with Orb.
Dickies Arena. Give it up for Garrett G and NRG, who is the final winner here today. Garrett, I asked you just before we went live here, were you ever nervous about the result here?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Were you surprised by Renegades?
I mean, yeah, like I said, I have a pretty interesting record versus OCE, so every time I play in RLCS, that's in the back of my head. But they're an interesting team to play. Like, I feel like they always have a lot of confidence. So, yeah, I was honestly scared there after game 4.
I mean, you're all past the champions. Is there something that you can take from your experience to kind of help you in a situation like this when you're on the main stage, you're in front of the lights, in front of the crowd? Is there anything you can take from your experience to help you out?
I don't know, but it just feels good to be back. We've been waiting for this for so long, and I'm just so thankful for the crowd.
I mean, you are no secret to the world stage. You are the only player who have qualified for every single Worlds. Does that come with added pressure, or is that something that helps you?
I don't know. I just like to play Rocket League, so.
Rocket League is fun. Next up, you guys got Semper. Any feelings on that matchup?
I think they've been surprising a lot of people, so I know it's going to be a difficult one. I think if we can take that one, we're going to be pretty good for Sunday, like taking down an EU team. So just not going to take them lightly, and hopefully we show up playing well.
NA looking to go all the way, of course. Can we go ahead and hype it up one last time, please, for NRG and Garrett G.
We've got one last thing before we head off. It's been great seeing you guys here. It was a great performance. For CJ, I know we've got a bit of an announcement to make. What's happening?
Yeah, obviously the boys knew while out, mum and dad are here, but yeah, I just played my last event, so.
It's been an honor of my life. And you can see the impact you've had on the crowds, on all of us, and we've made something special for you. Look up to the Jumbotron and have a watch.
CJ, I wish you the best of luck with whatever you choose next. You've inspired so many people around the globe, so many Rocket League players, and whatever you do next, you know, I'm always going to support you.
I'll miss you competing against me, but obviously I'm kind of relieved that I don't have to verse the Renegades with you on there anymore. It's kind of not fun when I'm dead half the game, but no, I'll miss you.
What I think is in store for CJ's future, he's definitely going to get on the desk. Going to be a caster, maybe an analyst. In London, he was really good, like on the desk and casting, and I think he's got a really good future ahead of him in casting.
CJ, I just want to wish him luck with whatever he does, and I'm going to miss competing against you. I love you, and yeah, good luck with whatever you do.
It's been quite a ride, CJ. I still remember that moment that you brought me onto the team and you were really welcoming. I'll miss you a lot. You know, we've had our lows, but we've also had our highs. You've been a big brother to me. I'm sure you've been really motivating to Carby and Lockie to be better people. I feel like I've grown a lot around you. Maybe not on the gameplay side of things, but you've definitely, I feel like I've matured just being around you, and I really thank you for that, and I really miss playing with you. But you will do great things.
CJ to me is literally one of my best mates, my brother, also a long-time teammate, and yeah, literally couldn't ask anything more from him. Well, as CJ leaves, we may be ending as teammates, but we'll always be brothers.
CJ, thanks for bringing Rocket League to our family. The last 6 years has been so much fun, and to be honest, I wouldn't change a thing. I think this is the right time to bow out. You've been an amazing example to the other players on how to conduct yourself, and I'm really proud of what you've achieved. Whatever comes from this, you know you always have my 100% support. Love you.
CJ has allowed me to understand more of myself, funnily enough, being the coach. He's allowed me to step outside my zone and explore different aspects of coaching, which I thought I never would have done. He's allowed me to set the ground for what the future may be within the coaching scene. CJ, Cameron Johns to me, is not my player. He will forever be my brother.
Hi son, congratulations on an outstanding achievement as a player. I am really proud of your achievement. All I want to do from now on is do two things. One, have a shoey with you and all your fans, and also congratulations on a great career. Love you, son.
None of us would go back on it. You've been an absolute beaut for OCE and for the world of Rocket League. I've got you a little parting gift that hopefully represents a bit of our time, past and present and future. But you can say this better than I ever could. You're a genius, you're a charming young man with a great future. Just let the crowd know.
Chief, it feels a bit like my funeral or something. Thanks so much for everyone. Obviously, yeah, 5 years, it's been a long time. To start and finish it with K-Dog has been incredible. So, you know, as you said, we're brothers for life, and this is the best team I've ever been on. So to finish with you guys, yeah, love you guys, and hopefully you guys are back here, and I'll be on the desk and cheering you guys on, I'm sure. So thanks to these boys, firstly. Yeah, it's been a long journey. I guess I've never been the best player, never had mechanics. Here I am though. Never been able to hit an open net or anything like that, but yeah, to be making it back here to Worlds, it just, for me, it felt like the best time to finish it off. And yeah, as you know, I guess the meme is that I'll be joining the desk, so maybe it is, you know, finally time that I do that. So I'm looking forward to that. I won't keep you too long, just a few quick thank yous. Mum and Dad, to have you guys here means the world. First international event for them, and to be here is incredible. So I don't know if you're here or you're up in the VIP. You're probably the Papa CJ, Mama CJ, thank you so much for your support. Without you guys never doubted me and let me sort of, you know, play a video game for a living. So, you know, it's pretty cool. So thank you guys for that. To the Renegades, to Josh, you're an absolute superstar. Thank you so much for the support. And then to Chiefs back in the day, like the guys that have been able to support me, give me a platform. To Brielle back home, a lovely partner, and her family, thank you so much for your support. I love you guys to bits, so thank you so much. Where the camera is. Thank you so much, guys. You're the best. And obviously to you guys, like I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. I'm here, like COVID was so hard not having a crowd and seeing your faces, I guess, in international events. So I think I've realised I'm pretty washed up, might not make it back, so I might join the desk so I can guarantee myself a spot. Yeah! Thanks so much, guys, and thank you to Yummy as well, absolute legend. So it feels right to be here with you in this moment. So thanks everyone. Thanks all the OCE region as well for supporting us. And I think we're in a good spot with the Pioneers boys. Shout out to those guys. Can't wait to see how we go. So, yeah, CJ is officially on the desk, I guess. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, give it up. One final time for CJ.